Brigsby Bear is... Well, it's something. It's something. It's like if Room and the Lobster had sex and then had a kid. That's what this movie reminds me of. It's directed by Dave McCary and stars Kyle Mooney, Mark Hamill, a slew of cast members, and this is one of those movies that the less you know going into it, the better. I knew almost nothing about this movie. I knew the absolute bare minimum. Like, I knew the bare plotline, the plotline that's listed on IMDb. That's all I knew about this. I hadn't seen the trailers. I hadn't seen any images. I was going into this completely fresh, and that really did help me. I'm really liking that more and more, going into movies completely fresh. And it's really hard to talk about this movie because it's a very complex movie. There are really a lot of things going on. This will probably be a pretty short review because there's not that much I can talk about because I don't want to spoil anything. It's an impeccably made movie, though. It's a really, really great movie. It's very well crafted because at the end of the day, it's a character piece. It's Room. It's about this guy coming out after being held captive for the majority of his life, all of his life, and experiencing a world around him. And what's really interesting about this, when you compare it to something like Room, is Room works really well because it's about Jacob Tremblay discovering things really for himself and on his own, really, because the only kinds of genuine interactions he'll have are with, like, Brie Larson or Joan Allen or William H. Macy. In this movie, you've got this character who is experiencing this new world through the other people around him. You've got his parents, you've got his sister, you've got his friends, you've got even his old parents. Like, he's able to see the contrast between these things, and all of that leads to a very natural feeling development of a character, and even a natural feeling setup of a character. Because when they have all these other guys, all these other side characters, they're all in a way like cliches. You know, you have the dad that wants to, you know, be with his son and do father-son things, and you've got the mom who's really sweet and caring and just wants the best for the son. You have the sister who wants nothing to do with the brother, but the parents want the sister to take the brother to do things. And, like, it's very, at the beginning, it's all very, these are kind of stereotypical, cliched characters. But the point of having that is so, as they interact with this more strange person who's come from a world that they would never understand, they're all coming out of their shells and becoming more complex and layered as characters. And that's what's really important about this movie. That's what really works best about this movie, is how natural it feels, and how natural all of the relationships between all these people feel, and the constant development of those relationships feel. That's what this movie sort of grounds itself on and continues to complement itself on, is these relationships between all of these characters. The writing is really, really good. There's some really solid comedy in this, whether that's visual comedy or actual dialogue comedy, which Dave McCary also does a very good job of, and the editing team, I thought, really, really worked well for this movie. All the comedy really lands, except for a couple parts in the middle. My main problem with this movie is a lot of the second act. A lot of the second act gets very repetitive to the point where it's a little bit much. It's a little bit, okay, tone it back a little bit, let's see something new. Because they start having these development of characters, and then you sort of find yourself in a standstill place where there's not as much happening, and, you know, they're all kind of in a good place together, so they haven't really hit the climax of the movie yet. And that's to the point where the filmmakers almost kind of went, okay, well, I guess we just show them kind of being all okay with each other. And what resulted from that was a bit of a repetitive patch in the movie that I would say lasts for about 20 minutes, maybe 30. Not 30, like 20 minutes. And it's a little bit like, That's what really kind of stopped me from calling this movie amazing. You know, it's that little patch in there, and I hate doing that with movies. It was like what I did with 10 Cloverfield Lane. The ending tore that movie apart for me. I hate that ending of 10 Cloverfield Lane, and it's the first thing I think about. this little patch in the movie is kind of, you know, what stops me from going, oh, what a phenomenal movie. It's like this really great flowing thing, this little rocky chunk, and then you get the rest of the movie, which is really good. It ends on a really high note. It ends really well. It's a very feel-good movie. And what I said was important about this movie coming out of it when I saw it was, it's a movie that reminds us why we go to the movies. You know, you don't just go to sit there for 2 hours like this and just stare up at a screen. You go to have an experience. You go to connect with characters and to connect with storylines and relationships, and that's what this movie gives you through its natural element and through, especially, like I haven't even touched on yet, the performances, which are all great. They all manage to, as I said, with just their characters, play these sort of cliche characters because all of those actors really fit that kind of look and feel, and then add a little more when their characters are given more spice and more story and more development and more something to do. The actors really bring their own to that, especially the lead guy, Kyle Mooney. He's really, really good. He starts out as just this kind of fish out of water character and slowly sort of melds more into the swing of things, and you see him getting more comfortable with people, and you see him understanding the way of the world. A lot of that is due to his character writing, which he wrote, and a lot of that is due to him as a performer. That's sort of the same deal with all of the other actors. I thought Mark Hamill did a really, really great job. He's not in as much, but again, it's always cool to see actors like that do stuff outside of their main story, because like Harrison Ford, in terms of Star Wars, like, you know, obviously went on to do a lot more things. Mark Hamill, we saw much less, you know, he does the Joker voice or whatever, but it's really cool to see him in a movie like this, you know, kind of an underseen indie film, and he's really great in it. He really shows his acting chops and performances, and everyone else. The sister's really, really good. Even the parents are pretty good. That one dad is in a lot of stuff. I can't remember his name. He pops up everywhere, and he really shows that he's got acting talent in this movie. Just overall, it's widespread, a lot of talent in this movie. And again, like I said, you just come out of this and you go, that's why we go to the movies. We go to have an out-of-this-world experience. We go to have these connections, and with these certain themes in the middle of the movie, like Brigsby Bear and how it sort of intertwines around everything and connects everything, you really feel that, and you understand it, and you understand these characters. You feel for these characters. You feel for the storyline. You're invested into the storyline. And all of those things really play into why this is an enjoyable movie, and to why people like this movie, and why critics are liking this movie, why audiences are liking this movie. And I think it's definitely one to get out there and check out if you get a chance. Like I said, don't see anything about it going in. I think that really makes it a lot better for you, is if you're kind of going in clean and not knowing much, because it's just a movie like that. It's a movie that you don't want to know a crazy load about, because everything else kind of feels special when you're seeing it for the first time. And I think that's kind of important with a movie like this. So yes, I would absolutely recommend this movie. I think it's 100% worth getting out there and checking out if you really want to have an out-of-body and out-of-this-world experience. And I think it's a really great movie to represent filmmaking at its core, and why we do it, and why we enjoy it. So, what did you guys think? Have you seen Brigsby Bear? Have you not seen Brigsby Bear? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.